created that little clip earlier in the tutorial, and I applied some special effects to it. I'm working on creating an intro for the Wild Creating podcast, and then hopefully I will sort of stoke my creative fire enough to be able to record an episode of me talking about a few things that I want to talk about. But I thought I would go ahead and just record my process of learning Adobe Audition. I know a lot of the Adobe software. I already know a lot of Adobe software, so I'm working with an advantage because once you learn one or two, and especially 3 or 4 Adobe tools, then it makes it a whole lot easier and faster to learn additional tools. So by the time I learned Adobe Premiere and now Adobe Audition, I have a great advantage at learning the software simply because I am familiar with the Adobe interface. I do find it to be very intuitive, as you know, but I've been working with Adobe products for over 20 years, so of course it's intuitive for me. But I thought I would still record this session of me learning Adobe Audition. I wish I had thought of it earlier in this tutorial. I am here, and I'll just reverse back through it just to show you everything I've already done before I thought to record it. So I'm learning the editing tools, which are very similar to the editing tools in Adobe Premiere. You can cut things, and I don't know what the slip tool is. Time selection tool, where you can adjust the timing, the speed, I'm guessing. Yeah, this is new to me, editing and mixing sound specifically, so that's what Adobe Audition is for. It is really working with, it's for working with audio files, and I'm hoping to use it to edit the podcast, the Wild Creators podcast going forward. I would love to use Adobe Audition. That is kind of a tongue twister for me, apparently. And I have to kind of get my voice turned back on. I haven't been talking much today, and it's almost 3 o'clock. And I just decided to jump into this. It's a Saturday, which is often a learning day for me. So today I'm learning Adobe Audition, so welcome. Anyway, I'll go ahead and reverse back through all of the things I've already covered in this tutorial. And this is just the built-in, baked-in tutorial inside Audition. So as soon as I opened the software for the first time, it sort of said, hey, do you want a tour? And I said yes, and this is the tour. So I've been using the tour to set up the file that I'm wanting to create using this software. So I'm coming into it with a very specific goal in mind. I had been using Adobe Premiere to edit a video version of the podcast, and I feel like it is a roadblock in my creative process because I'm too focused on the video aspect, wherein I think I really need to be focused on the audio aspect. But I knew how to use Adobe Premiere already, so it was an easier, barrier to entry, I suppose. So I felt like it was a quicker way to get started, but for the long haul, I would really like to just focus on the audio portion, and the video will become a bonus as I go and become faster and more efficient with editing these episodes. So I am learning Adobe Audition. Now I'm going to reverse back through this little tour to show you what I've already learned. We talked about, this is sort of going backwards through the timeline here, but we learned how to place our recorded clip into the timeline to now be able to mix in other things like music and sound effects or other people. Let's see, there are 2 different views we had prior to this, which you will see. We will, as we go backwards in time, we started in the waveform view, which is a very different way of sort of visualizing the audio files, but now we have been in the multi-track, which allow us to kind of create a timeline of audio pieces that we can sort of mix together and create one single file, because I'm going to add, background music. I created this little intro, which I'm considering sort of a sound effect. And then eventually, of course, I will have actual audio content. For this episode file that I'm creating now, it is just going to be me. I'm not going to have another person, so I will just probably use one of these tracks here. And I jump back over to the tutorial. Let's see, there's a history, which is very common in most of Adobe software. There's a way to kind of jump back in time if you mess up. It's not forever. There's a way to undo things, and history panel is a way of sort of being able to visualize all the steps you've taken so far in the file. Let's see, favorites. There's some sort of preset normal edits, what would you call that? Like actions that you take in this software, so they've kind of baked them in as preset options. You can also create your own favorites, so if there's a certain sequence of actions or edits that you make to files and you're doing it to multiple files, you can create sort of like creating actions in Photoshop. I think you can create a favorite set of kind of a process, from what I understand. Oh, I could have read that. Anyway, that was my own words and not the words of, which I suppose that's how you learn, right? Is you learn it, and then if you once you teach it, then it makes you much more proficient at using it when you can explain to someone else how to use it, right? Or to whatever it is that you're learning and teaching. Let's see, audio effects. There's also some built-in special effects. Where was that? I think, that was back in the waveform view. So when you're here and you're actually visualizing the audio file, so this is the intro clip that I recorded. You can see it's actually called something else. The multi-track overall is going to be the episode, and I'm putting all these pieces. The waveform shows one specific aspect or element of this multi-track. So, but here you can select, kind of like you can use a marquee, which looks more like Photoshop or Illustrator or something, one of the visual creative tools that Adobe has. Here looks more like what you see in Adobe Premiere, which is kind of a standard audio file format. But you can select certain clips of this, and then under the effects menu at the top, you can see there's like a lot of built-in special effects and like sub menus of options. What did I do? I applied what did I do? I think I like changed the pitch slightly. I don't really remember how I did that. But then what else? I also applied a telephone. Where was that? See, I'm definitely learning. That might have been somewhere else. There was an area where I could, like, where was that? Let me look back in my history. Oh. That doesn't tell me much. Where was that? Nope, that's not it. I honestly don't know where that was, but the option was where was that? Telephone voice. So it was actually a favorite. So that was like a built-in set of actions that create this sort of telephone voice that you see in my multi-track that I ended up saving.
Hello. Testing. We're gonna give this thing a go.
So cringe, but I'm going with it. Okay, this. No, oh, that was. No, it's the same thing. I thought maybe I could show you the original version where I just awkwardly recorded my normal voice. Alright, back to the tutorial. Spectral frequency, so that's like this red, yellow, orange kind of spectral frequency display option at the bottom. It's just a different way of visualizing the same thing that you're seeing here. I just added this different preview of the same waveform. Let's see, editing selection, so you basically edit the same way that you do in, let me go back to that intro, like you see in Premiere where you can like select, so I ended up like clipping this and made it shorter, but I selected the whole thing and used the fade in and out under favorites so that it kind of, you could hear the fade in and fade out. You can see how the waveform like goes from nothing, and then I actually ended up amplifying it some too because it was so soft. I'm speaking a little louder now. Hopefully it's not too soft. If not, I will probably amplify this audio as well. I tend towards softly speaking, especially when I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to a screen. Okay, I'm gonna jump back. What else? Recording, that's where I recorded the actual original little awkward clip. I used the record button, which you can click at any time. I would move to the end of this, and then I would click record again to create another segment onto this, or maybe I would just create a new file. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. A new audio file, and I'll call it Aaron's Talk. Simple enough. I'll know exactly what that is, so I'll click on this, and when I'm ready to record, I'll just click the red button. I'm not going to do that right now. Alright. So we started off talking about the waveform view, which when you click record, you'll see this, like, as you're talking, the green line jumping around and showing you the, which is a lot less distracting on the screen when you're speaking, as opposed to, like, recording a video and then having to, like, watch your face on the screen in front of you. I think, audio only is a whole lot easier to accept about ourselves when we're first getting started with sharing an added dimension of intimacy or vulnerability or creativity, which that's what this podcast feels like for me. It definitely feels like a challenge, and so that's why screen recordings are helpful and doing audio only is helpful. I'm going to include the video aspect to the podcast, but I'm not going to focus on it anymore. It won't be the primary piece anymore. So let's see, where did we start? It talked about the different editing views to start, and then it sort of, obviously we started by explaining what Adobe Audition is, a professional digital audio workstation, ideal for mixing sounds for video, recording podcasts or radio shows, and restoring and repairing audio recordings. So that's where I started. We're going to do it again. Now I'm going to just zip ahead to... there we go, that's where I was. Mixing like a pro. So, let's see. I'm going to jump back, go to the next screen. Other great tools. What is this? Audition can accomplish many more audio-related tasks beyond those mentioned in this overview. You can explore the tools for many of these tasks through the window menu that's here. This is usually a list of other panels that are available. So I guess we're talking here about batch processing and match loudness. And what else? You can create and edit many kinds of metadata. Other tools enable you to analyze frequency, phase, and amplified recordings. So Windows usually hold, like, there's a default set of panels that sort of encompass, the standard everyday tools that you use most often. But obviously there are, like, so many more tools available in all of Adobe software beyond what can be covered in, like, an introductory tour or tutorial. So the window link at the top that sort of is the container for all of these other tools. I'm going to go ahead and click on a couple of them just to sort of explore. Favorites, as we've already talked about, it's the same. Another thing is Adobe products are super redundant, so you find things in multiple places for almost everything. Most every tool is available in more than one place, which makes it feel so much more daunting sometimes, because you're like, oh wow, look at all this and then all of this and all of this and all of this. Yeah, it can be super overwhelming, but it does get easier. That's what I was saying. Like, once you learn one or two Adobe software, it just gets, exponentially easier to learn additional Adobe software. See. Oh yeah, that's where we are there. So see how redundant that was already here, available. It's just another way of like opening it. Let's see, video. Oh, that's there. Yeah. Zoom. Oh yeah, that's there. So see, yeah, some of this stuff is already here. Okay, I'm just gonna look at this match. So this is like drag and drop supported media files here. So let me go back. I'm guessing I can come back to my files and go to my intro wave file that I created that was the telephone voice. I'm gonna drag it here, click on it, match loudness settings, leave that. I'm just gonna run it. I guess it sort of standardizes the loudness to make sure it doesn't like break any laws about how loud public audio can be. What happens? Is it done? Okay, and then I guess I can export it. Export settings. So I can save a new version of that. Where am I putting things? I guess that works. Same as source file. There we go. And then I'll add a postfix. I'll go ahead and add like call it loudness match. I'll just go ahead and name it exactly what it is so I know. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to save that as a wave also. That seems standard. I don't get any sort of like confirmation, so I'm going to just assume that that's done. Oh, complete in 0.09. At the bottom of most Adobe software is usually a status bar, and so if anything's running, especially you'll see it a lot in Photoshop if you're processing really large files, or Adobe Premiere, and you can where you have to run processes or things that take a minute or 0.09 seconds that end up taking like 9 minutes depending on your computer. Let's see, I'm gonna try closing that. Actually, oh, I guess it's done. It told me it took 0.09 seconds. Alright. Batch process. So, okay, so this is if you had a ton of different audio files that you needed to do the exact same thing to. Like if I wanted to create telephone voice for all of my audio files, I could stack them in there and then run that favorite action on multiple files. You see batch processing in Photoshop also. Let's see. I'm going to jump back to the tutorial. Power and simplicity. When mixing a podcast or video project, the essential sound panel. Essential sound panel. Going to essential sound. Alright. I'll keep it open. It's a great resource for beginners to achieving amazing results. Select a clip and then assign it a mix type such as dialogue. Alright. I'm going to come back over to my mixer. Oh, new. Go to this one. Here. Aha. Okay, so that's what assigns this. So I could have multiple, like if I added additional tracks, then I could assign them this tag, which apparently creates this. It sort of gives you like a specialized control over the type of audio file. Obviously you treat dialogue differently than you treat, background music. So this would be like probably a standardized setting based on the type of audio file that you're using. All right. Learn more with Adobe Audition portal. So it's basically telling me there are more ways to learn more. Go to Window, Extensions, Adobe Audition portal. Okay. Okay, cool. This would be the first thing I'm interested in. My blazing fast internet. Alright, we'll come back to that. I don't really need that right now. Alright, cool. Pitch and roll recording. Create your first podcast. That's what I want to do. Podcasts are a great way to keep in touch with family, customers. I am using an external microphone. I'm using like a kind of an old, probably really super outdated at this point, what's it called? Blue Snowball. So it's one of those white, like entry level. I think they actually still sell them. Like you can find them like in Best Buy. It's not a top of the line, but it does improve like, my laptop's microphone. I think it sounds okay. And then I'm using one of those like wind guards. The Snowball is like a giant white round ball, so I can't really put like a wind sock over it or one of those foam rubber. This is kind of a pain because it has like a clamp that I screw onto my desk, and then it's got one of those like bendy arms, and but it's, I've had it for a few years and I've twisted it a lot so it doesn't always stay. And I talk with my hands, so I'll bump it. Anyway, check input levels, record your voice. I'm hoping this sounds okay. I didn't do anything. I just plugged it in. And then I accepted. It asked, to use this device, so hopefully it's working. Import music. I do want to do that and insert it into the timeline. Adjust clips. Yes, I want to do that. I'm going to click start. So this will basically guide me through exactly what I want to do. Create a new multi-track session. That's exactly what I did here. A typical podcast might consist of a host, voiceover, that's me, a guest interview, that's you, a lot of you, and some music in the beginning and end. That is something I'm working on, creating something new. I have something that I've been using, but I want to evolve that. The simplest way to create and combine these different parts is within a multi-track editor. That's what this is. Save again. And Audition makes it easy with a built-in podcast template. Sweet. Click. Oh, that's why. That's what this. I started with a template that said podcast, so it was already pre-built with like having this segment for host, the segment for interview, the segment for sound effects, for the music bed, and then the master is sort of like everything mixed together. Mixer. I think that's what that is. It's like everything. Default option. Stereo. That's what I want. Yeah. Okay. I've already done that. I did that. I did that. Set up your microphone. Okay, this I need to do. Okay, so it probably is already set up. The podcast template has tracks. Yep, we did that at the top. You'll see marker ranges. Okay, that's kind of cool. 30-second intro. So it kind of shows me here I need to fill this amount of space with audio to do my intro. It builds a visual of the audio template, right? It gives you a visual template for the audio files. And then your main will be like getting into the meat of what you're talking about in the episode. And then you got a 30-second outro. So it really visualizes, the whole format, like the general format of a podcast, right? It's a familiar format. All right, jumping back. That's cool. For this podcast, let's just record you saying hello to the world. First, we'll need to make sure the host track is set. Oh, so this is not the way I did it. But I could continue recording. Obviously, I have a few more things to say probably to introduce this podcast. we'll start there. I'm going to start recording here. So, what is this? Stereo. We'll keep it default. Master. Stereo. I don't know what that means. Oh no. Okay, these are things I turn off and on, but I don't know what it is. Maybe this will tell me. In the host track, click the track input selector. Oh, then mono. Interesting. Then choose first input channel display. This choice will be different for every system, but Audition defaults to your primary operating system input. Interesting. So I did not do that correctly. Mono, do that. Okay, is that what the mono, stereo, and what is that? R. Read. Oh, read. I don't know what that means. Mono. Surprising. Okay. I don't wonder why that is. Okay. It seems like it should be stereo, no? Alright, I'm going with it. I'm following directions as told. Like a good little student. Arm for recording and arm for recording. Test your microphone selection and input level by arming the track for recording. I guess that means clicking on it. Click the R button at the top right corner. Okay. The R button should turn red and you should see the track input level meter become active with green. Oh, interesting. I was recording. I didn't hear anything. Hold up. Oh man, what's up? I hear nothing. What is happening? Oh, there we go. Oh, mute. That's what that is. Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna come here and push R. Okay, and then you can actually see. No, you cannot. Can you? No, it says I would. I've armed it. I clicked R. Oh, I see. Now I can see. Okay, interesting. So that shows this. Alright. Oh, that slows things down. Okay. Button should turn right, track. Okay, say a few words. Ideally, the meter will turn yellow when you're speaking normally and will not extend into red for very long. Okay, let's just check. It will be, oh, I'm not even in yellow. I'm in, is that yellow? It wouldn't extend to red. Oh, see, it's not even loud enough to register. Yellow. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm kind of soft. It's only in the green. So I'll probably have to amplify this because I'm not speaking very loudly. When you're ready to record your podcast greeting, click the red record button at the bottom of the editor panel. Recording will begin immediately. Say whatever's on your mind and read the following practice script. Hi, this is my name here, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough lesson I'm following right now is taking me through each step of the process. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to clip out some because I'm gonna have to clip back over, and I'm totally gonna read the script. So I'm gonna click record and then jump back over. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough lesson I'm following right now is taking me through each step of the process. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. Boom. Did I go over time? No, because of course the template provided me exactly. And look here, look, I'm going to click on that. Look here, just like in Adobe Premiere, I can just drag off the awkward silences at the beginning and the end. And then I did try deleting the gap. In Adobe Premiere, you can click, you can click in between and it will delete the gap, but here you actually have to move it over. Let's see what that sounds like. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. Yeah, see, look here. I'm going to come in here, see these gaps in the sound. I'm going to close that. I'm going to use my little razor. Click it. Come back to my selection. I don't know if it's actually called the selection tool. Just delete. Scooch that over. And then scooch that over. Kind of clicks into place. I'm going to zoom in so I can see. Scooch it. Scooch it. This I think needs to be like sped up. How do you do that? Like I want it to be like kind of faster. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, I see. Sound effects one. Okay, so that's the. I'm gonna rename that, but it doesn't matter. What? Oh no. I was double clicking on things. No. Multi-track. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm probably mumbling and really talking to myself. I normally don't speak at all, so I'm not really controlling what's coming out. I just know that I have to talk. So this actually needs to be moved over. I would love to rename this easily without. How can I rename this? No. Oh. I don't know how. Interesting. Okay. Move that over. Also, this is part of my ADD problem. Is I know I should keep going through the tutorial, like move on to the next step, but I know that this is something I want to do, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Even though we're not at this point, and this becomes a problem sometimes when I'm teaching too, because I see these detours that I would love to take them on, and sometimes it would be helpful, and sometimes it's not helpful. And I don't always understand which is helpful and which is not in that moment. Easily. Yeah, let's clip that also. It'll just sound slightly less awkward. I won't do this outside of the intro, but you know, for the intro that's going to be repeated week after week after week, I don't want to keep my awkward hesitations in there when I can just clip it. And who knows, I may end up re-recording this anyway, but I still would like it to sound and be timed. And I know I was good on time actually. Also don't want it to sound rushed, but I can adjust it back if it's too fast. Alright, let's see. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. No. That is an awkward little pause there. I feel like I will end up like... Oh no. What does that do? Interesting. Oh, I see. That would be double. I want to actually close it up. Close it up. Okay. It would be super helpful. Can I select more than one at once? Nope. Can I? Yeah. Something like that. And then move it down like that. Okay. That's much faster. Start it here. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. That is kind of a tongue twister for me for some reason. Okay, I'm going to ignore it and move on. Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough helped me get started easily. That may be a little too weird. And the walkthrough lesson I'm following. Hold it. Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough lesson I'm following right now is taking me through each step of the process. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. I'm going to clip out, hold up, right? Superstar in... Sometimes you have, a little brain flash idea storm while you're creating something, and, I just had this idea while I was listening. Podcast. See what it sounds like. I'm going to be a podcast superstar. So I really want this last section here. I'm going to go here. Come here. Oh, I see. Be a pod. I'm going to be. I want just this section. So I'm going to select just this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. I'm gonna get selected again, and I jump to the mixer. No, I see. Here. This is what I want. I want to turn it up a little bit. Turn it up. I'm going to be a pod. Yeah, bro. Cast super. What happened in my? What did I do? That's not what I meant to do. Voiceover compressor. Start in no time. Voiceover. Going to be a pop. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. I think it's kind of funny. How do in my mixer, does it show up? Multi-track. I'm going to be a podcast. Okay, cool. It's taking me through each step of the process. I'm going to be a podcast. It's kind of a weird transition, isn't it? What happens when I match clip loudness? Yeah. What can I'm doing some similar. I know in Adobe Premiere I can click along the left edge when I see that icon and hold Control and click. It gives me some options that might let me. I'd like it to there, maybe blend it through each step of the process. I'm going to be a podcast superstar in no time. See, that sounds a little better, but I think yeah. Okay, I didn't save my changes earlier. Alright, so that's sort of when you can overlap these segments. It kind of helps blend them together. Alright. I need a little sip of my tea. Oh. Alright. Okay. I'm going to jump back now to the, I did that. Import music, yes. That is what I've been waiting for. You can add excitement to your podcast by adding intro music. Click the file icon below to import an energetic track from the Adobe Loopology collection. Or use File Open to select a music file from your own hard drive. I don't have one, so I'm going to go ahead and do what it says. Oh yeah, there it is, rock intro. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to listen to it. If the editor panel changes to display the music waveform, don't worry. Oh, good. I was worried. For a second, you can quickly switch to any open file by double-clicking the file name in the Files panel, or by clicking the Editor Panel tab, and selecting your file from the list. Oh, I see. Very handy, dandy. Okay. Switch back to your podcast file. Let's see. It was here. Adding files to your timeline. In the Files panel, drag the file that starts with rock intro into the orange track labeled music bed. Hold up. Okay, I'll go ahead and read this. Place this clip at the beginning of the timeline. You'll see exactly 30 seconds long, and it fits perfectly within the 30-second intro marker. If you selected your own music track, you'll need to drag the file. Okay, we're gonna just go with this one for now, even though I'm not sure it has quite the same vibe, but we're going with it. Yeah, look at that, exactly. Okay, interesting. Add remove effects. I'm super curious. I kind of want to do this. I don't know how it's going to sound with this gap, or if this is something I need to fill with more words, or let the music speak for my speak. Let's see. Oh, you can't even hear that. Okay, good. See, I bumped. Hold up. It's too loud. Ay, ay, ay. This is where the mixing comes in. Sorry, I bumped this like spit guard thing, and it fell down. So I got all excited over the music. Obviously, the music is too loud. This has similar volume control. Okay, this is similar to the interface in Adobe Premiere, where you have the volume line. The volume of the clip is represented by this line. You see, I can get a little plus sign in my cursor, and I want to line it up to where the end of that audio clip is. Then I want to drop it down. I don't want it to be totally silent, but I want it to be significantly lower. I'm actually going to add another one so I can kind of gradually, while I'm speaking. Let's see. Still a little loud. I also think this needs to be a little louder, actually, right? How do I do that? There. I want to just drag that whole line up like that. Still not loud enough. Uh-oh. The timing's actually pretty good. Let's see. Right when the beat's about to drop, man, darling. Let's see, what can I do? Favorites. I add remove effects, clip effects, track effects. Track effects. I don't know. Effects. Time and pitch. Loudness meter. A vocal enhancer, maybe? Presets. Low tone. Oh, no. Nope, that's not it. Hold up. Come back. Click you. Alright. Introduction. Just want to make it louder, man. I guess I'm going to just have to volume drag that line. Nope, that's it. Oh, no, hold up. I want the whole line, man. Delete. Nope. Come on. There you go. you doing this? Look here, man. Okay, I'll play. No, come on, bro. Let me just. All right. I don't know why. See, like here's where I would normally want to put a jazzy little video clip, but I have to just have audio only, so I feel like there should be something else, not just like music for 5 to 15 seconds. First ever pod. No, we gotta get way down, bro. Yeah, using Adobe Audition. Template help. This volume's gotta go way down. Make it started. What was I just moving? I don't know the difference between those two things. Alright, I'm gonna leave it. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making... That's too low. Too much, bro. That's kind of a drop off. Let's kind of gradually drop it off. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough lesson I'm following right now is still too loud. The music, man, it's really rocking out, bro. Hi. And I use the universal, bro. Hey, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough lesson I'm following right now is taking me through each step of the process. What did I say? Taking me through each step of the process. I'm gonna be a podcast superstar in no time. Gotta make that a little better. This thing keeps falling down. I don't know if it's worth it. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna be a podcast superstar in no time. I've got to get that sounding a little clearer somehow. Is there an effect? Let's see. Modulation, noise reduction, slightly denoise it, maybe. Presets, light noise reduction. Can I preview it? Really? Let's try heavy. Maybe, I guess. I don't really know if there's much difference, or maybe I'm not able to hear the difference. Let's try that match loudness thing. Burn it. And it's done. Burn and done. It's completed in 0.08 seconds. Alright, cool. Step of the process. Boom, and now we go right into the episode. It's actually right on schedule. Zoom that back. Right here. Now we're into the main content, which we have to record a new track for. I'm going to save that. One or more media files. Yep, I want to do that. Okay, I'm going to come back over here. Adding files to the file. Okay, I did that. Adjusting over. You will probably want the music to play. Oh yeah, I already did that on my own. Play for a few seconds before the. Okay. Maybe I do. But I've got plenty of room, see? Maybe it will make it a little bit, but I don't want to miss that drop, you know what I mean? See, I gotta wait. Wait for it. Hi, this is Aaron, and I'm making my first ever podcast using Adobe Audition. The template helped me get started easily, and the walkthrough lesson I'm following right now is taking me through each step of the process. All right, I like it. We're gonna go with it. Exporting our podcast. All right. When your podcast is being recorded and edited, it's time to save it. Most podcasts are saved in the compressed AAC format to create smaller files. Good. First, select File, Export, Multi-track Mix File. Export. Multi-track mix down. Entire session. And then select AAC audio and maybe both. Yeah. You can find the file in your system documents folder. Feel free to share it on social media. I will. As your podcast needs grow, come back for fresh walkthroughs on mixing, cleaning up recordings, and more to further your adventure skills and become an expert with Adobe Audition. Cool. Nice. So I did that one. I did that one. I want to do these ones. And maybe. And this one maybe. And these all sound good. Alright. I'm gonna go and record my podcast now. And then I'll probably, obviously use the same rock intro and make it my rock outro. And then maybe some little call to action in my last 30 seconds. And I'll go through that export thing and I'll probably post this. What is this? 3 minutes? Really? Maybe a little longer than that, but we'll see. All right. Well, thanks for following along on my little learning adventure, and maybe I'll do more of these. I know most of the other Adobe software, at least somewhat. Maybe I'll do a little walkthrough. I'll walk through the tutorials and let you learn with me. Learn things I already know in some cases. I think I know. They're always adding and changing and evolving these tools, which is amazing, and that's one reason they're still around, because they're constantly getting better and improving and providing more value for creators. So I've always been an Adobe user. I'm still an Adobe user, and big fan of most things that they are doing and creating. So maybe I'll do more of these. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully there was some value in it. All right, take care. More soon. Much love. Bye.